on, Jonny.
And we are live. Good afternoon or good morning, depending where in the world you are. How exciting. This is especially exciting because we love these Thank Flip It's Friday sessions, don't we? And we're especially going to love this one because I'm not alone. As you can see, sitting right next to me, almost about 7 miles away,
Hello.
is my personal trainer, Emma Cowell. How the bloody hell are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Emma's got a dodgy internet connection. So we might not hear all her words, but we can see her and hopefully we'll get the intent of what she's on about. As usual, I'll be doing most of the talking anyway. But Emma, what kind of a session did we have this morning? Because you're my personal trainer, aren't you?
Yes, we had a very good session this morning. Your favourite day, Jonny. We had a leg day today. So it was good, actually.
Yeah.
No, we're definitely seeing improvements in your lower body strength, and not to mention your mobility. It's as best as it ever has been.
I think so. I feel like I'm fitter, faster and stronger than I ever have been before. But yeah, listen, let's anchor this session for you, lovely viewers. We've got a bunch of you arriving. I'm sure there'll be many more in the coming moments. But we're doing something different today, aren't we? Because, you know, normally on these Thank Flip It's Friday sessions, we pick a marketing topic, something that's, you know, literally going to grow your business directly. And we play around with that. Yeah, we put some ideas out there and you guys get a whole ton of stuff to take away. Today is going to be different, but I think no less impactful. Because, you know, what use is marketing? Jonny the Bionic Man, says Curtis. What use is marketing if your mind and body gives up? You know, what use is any kind of skill set if you haven't got the energy to impart it to the world? And I have defined a concept this week which you might like the idea of. And this concept is the longevity obligation. And what I mean by that, I mentioned this to Emma earlier in the week, and I think Emma gets it. The longevity obligation says that if you've learned to do something which is really helping lots and lots of people and, you know, impacting the world in a positive way, if you've learned a skill that can do that, then you owe it to your followers, your tribe, your clients, whatever you want to call them, to be around for as long as possible and support them for as long as possible and as deeply as possible. In other words, spread your glorious gifts, you know, as far and wide as you possibly can. And I'm sure you will get the hang of this. I'm just gonna reflect what Caroline's just said. The longevity obligation. Yeah, it is your obligation to look after yourself. You know, not just for yourself and your friends and your close family, but for the people that we're here to serve. You know, if you give up too soon, if you pack it all in voluntarily or whatever, compulsorily, then you're doing them a disservice, aren't you? Corley's from Washington State. Corley's a very, very interesting example of postponing old age. Corley won't mind me saying she's one of our favourite clients. She's all in with this idea of postponing old age because Corley is 79 years old. She's 80 this year. And she's one of the most gracious and generous coaches in our community. And believe me, I think I'm speaking on behalf of you, Corley. You can give us a yay if you want. Corley has got no intention of giving up anytime soon. Let's have a look at the next one. If you want to care for others, you have to start with yourself. Now, by the way, that is a really, really cool comment, isn't it? And I just want to say one thing here. I'm just going to put a banner on the bottom here. If you are showing up in the comments here as Facebook user, the reason for that is that you haven't yet been to Facebook, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Can you see that on the bottom? streamyard.com/Facebook. And if you go there, there's a button to press where you give StreamYard permission to show your name in the chat. So when you actually do a chat, we can see who you are, and it doesn't say as that as Facebook user. So don't know who you are, Facebook user. Oh, it's Rita. There you go, Rita. So have a go, Rita. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and then we know it's you, don't we? Karen is here from France. All right. Well, look, let's get started. We have a quorum of lovely folks here, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying, but we are all of the same kind of generation, aren't we? With the exception of Emma, of course, who could be my granddaughter. You're probably not young enough to be my granddaughter, but you could definitely be my daughter, couldn't you, Emma? Full disclosure, what, you're 25 now, aren't you?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. 25 years old is Emma.
25. Yeah, 25.
Does that feel old to you?
No, I feel just about ready to start now. What I do in terms of, career and life lasting goals. I'm kind of looking forward ahead, and it's a good age to be at. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I really think you should be happy at every age. I mean, you should rejoice in the fact that you're waking up in the morning and still breathing. Some people don't do that. No, it's fantastic.
That's one thing that's definitely grateful.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was 25, I was full of hope for the future. I was a professional musician at that point, and I really felt as if I could make a career in music, and that was a forlorn hope because I was never really good enough or in touch with the popular mood, to actually be a renowned and wealthy professional musician. So I gave up after a bit and did something else. And there's no harm in doing that, of course, is that, life is one big experiment. So you don't have to be stuck in the same thing all the time. But it does feel to me with you, Emma, that you have got an approach to personal training which is different from other personal trainers that I've met and engaged. I think you are hungry for knowledge. You're always keen to learn new stuff, aren't you? It never feels like, it never feels like you're just lecturing me and imparting knowledge. It's a very kind of collaborative relationship we have, isn't it?
I believe so. I think it's important to, expand your knowledge in many different areas, not only in fitness, but a lot to do with our mindset as well. Because, of course, our mindset plays a massive part in our training and not only our mental health, but physical health as well.
Yeah, it's definitely all connected, isn't it? There shouldn't really be a distinction between the two. One feeds into the other, isn't it? Let's just say hello to a few folks here. So Roy's here. Roy, I think you're a good example of postponing old age. Roy is a semi-professional, I would say, very keen cyclist. And Roy runs cycling groups and cycles quite long distances in actual fact.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And Coralie loves being 79, bless you. Yeah, life just keeps on getting better, doesn't it? It really does. Right, so let's talk about the longevity obligation in a little bit more detail. This is why I think it's important for our community to look after ourselves. We've learned to do something, haven't we, which has a trickle-down effect on the rest of the world. As a coach or therapist, you can help an awful lot of people in their lives. And far from the idea of retiring anytime soon, it's my belief that we should be striving, assuming we want to, of course, to keep on going for as long as we can and helping as many people as we can. And of course, with experience comes knowledge and wisdom, and everything we do gets that little bit easier. So if it feels, in middle ages, I think most of us might define ourselves at this point. If it feels like, we got to learn some new stuff, we got to learn marketing and all that kind of thing, well, embrace that, because once you get over the initial learning phase, it just gets easier. There is no rule out there that says, you got to make your fortune by 45, otherwise forget it. There are many people in older age who've made wonderful businesses. I won't recite the names yet. Now I'm sure a lot of you have heard the stories. People like Colonel Sanders, for example. Did you know that, Emma? Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken. He launched that business when he was in his 60s. I think he was 65 or something.
Did he really?
Yeah,
No, I had no idea, actually.
Yeah,
there's a good fact, Jonny.
There you go. Well, there's a whole list of them, actually. If you just Google people who started businesses in their 60s, there's a massive pile of them. There really, really is. So age is just a number. I think we can all agree on that. Let's say hi to Adam.
Definitely.
Good to see you. So what I'd like to do with you here, let's get a few more. There's a few more feelings, actually. Loving this topic, says Facebook is from New Mexico. Let me try and guess. Are you Chloe? Are you Chloe from New Mexico? I'll be very impressed with myself if you are.
No, I think I will be as well, to be honest. I think you'll be in the wrong job, Jonny, if you're going to be mind reading all day.
I'm just going to be psychic, and it's been confirmed. This is Chloe from New Mexico. Adam is only as old as he feels. So there's somebody of your generation, Emma. There's a kindred spirit. Look, Adam's 32, still feels 21. I don't recall much difference, actually, between feeling 32 and feeling 21, but maybe there was. Who knows? I don't know. All right, well, let's get into some of the meat of this. I'm going to do something for you guys now, which you may well be impressed at. You may well be amazed at. But I have been working secretly on a project, and guess what it's called? It's called Postponing Old Age. And I've been working on this with a very good friend of mine called ChatGPT. Give it a yay if you've heard of ChatGPT. Who's heard of ChatGPT? Give us a yay just while I'm sharing this screen. I'm going to share a screen on my ChatGPT feed. Well, Emma's looking amazed. I'm going to tell you what this is then. I'm going to show you it. Let me just have a look. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen. So Emma, you and me are over on the left now. And the screen here. What I did, I went into ChatGPT this morning. ChatGPT is a chat bot. It's an artificial intelligence driven platform which is taking the world by storm. It's absolutely incredible. And I said to it this morning, write a sales page for an online monthly subscription community called Postponing Old Age, which coaches, therapists, consultants can join with the aim of living to 100 and beyond in perfect health. List the features. So I gave it some very specific instructions, and this is what the chatbot did. So Emma, you'll be amazed. I want to watch your amazed face here as you read this. This isn't me writing this. This is an artificial intelligence robot that created this. And it said, welcome to Postponing Old Age, online community. You'll have access to all this stuff. Now, this at the moment, I must stress, this isn't a sales webinar, by the way. I'm just running this in front of you guys just to say, look, this is probably something that I'm going to be doing in the next few months. And here's the basis of it. And I asked it to suggest the monthly pricing structure. And it said, the monthly pricing structure in Postponing Old Age is as follows: $29, $49 for a premium membership. Okay, we like that idea. And now I said, give some examples of real people who behave and appear much younger than they actually are as iconic examples of Postponing Old Age. So it listed Jack LaLanne. Have you heard of Jack LaLanne? Not Jack LaLanne. Have you heard of him, Emma?
I haven't, no, actually.
Often referred to as the Godfather of Fitness. Well, this guy was absolutely insane. He swam from, I think I'm right, he swam from Alcatraz to the shore in San Francisco. And Alcatraz is the prison where nobody's ever escaped from, right? But he managed to swim it. He was also known for towing cruise liners. So he was swimming with a harness and he towed cruise liners on his back. Just incredible, this guy. He lived to the age of 96 anyway, so he did well. Jane Fonda, I think we all know. This is all from ChatGPT, by the way. Isn't this incredible? How does it know all these things? It just does. And then he told me that Barbara Hannah Grufferman, specialised in aging and wellness, Betty White. Then just a few examples. Taking care of their bodies and minds, which is something that's encouraged, isn't it, in the Postponing Old Age community. I
Of
tell you what
course.
I've done today. I've been motivated to actually secure the domain name. So I've got postponingoldage.com and a couple of others as well. Anyway, I said give some examples of musical icons who are postponing old age. Guess who's in this list? Who can name, fingers on keyboards, who can name a musical icon who is postponing old age right now? Let's have some names in the chat. Come on with it. Right, so McCartney is the first one that ChatGPT came up with. Anybody else? Who else is postponing old age? So Paul McCartney, definitely. Oh, Madonna, that's a good one. It didn't suggest Madonna, actually, but it has got Elton John, Mick Jagger, Barbara Streisand. So a bit old school, this chatbot, isn't it? Rod Stewart for sure, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Diana Ross, oh my God. I actually thought she died. Must be something else I'm thinking of. Keith Richard, yeah. Ronnie Wood has just died. I think he's one of the founders. He died last year, one of the founders of the Rolling Stones. But here you are, look. And chatbot reasoned that these are some examples that they're able to postpone old age, maintain a high level of energy and performance. They've been able to do so by taking care of their bodies and minds. Look at this, right? This is ChatGPT for you. This robot is a very smart robot, right? Continuing to pursue their passions. Do you want to write those words down, folks? They're continuing to pursue their passions. We've got Ringo Starr here, Keith Richard, Elton John, Rod Stewart. Yeah, another vote for Rod Stewart, Mick Jagger. Yeah. My take on this is that despite the fact they've abused their bodies, right, over many, many years of drug and alcohol abuse, they're still alive and kicking out there in the 70s and 80s. That's not to say that you should start taking drugs and drinking loads of alcohol, but the point is that these people are continuing to pursue their passions. That's a really interesting concept. Now, that could be one of the key things that you guys can do, because every time I speak to any of you, you say to me, this is my passion, this is my mission, this is what I'm put on this earth to do. And you'll remember we do the Ikigai process, don't we, right at the start of the CAB program. And in this Ikigai, let me just include Emma in this, by the way. The Ikigai, Emma, is it's a Japanese business tool that we use. And Ikigai in Japanese means life purpose or reason for being. Yeah. And if you understand your Ikigai, then you will always be doing something you love. You'll be understanding, you're pursuing your passion. Just moving on from here, some more interesting stuff here. Well, actually, Emma, do you feel like you're pursuing your passion right now?
I do, and I couldn't have made a better decision, really. I mean, in terms of previous jobs and the future, I think I'm definitely where I belong right now. And that's something that I don't see changing for decades, if I'm honest.
Just tell us, give us some insight. What were you doing before? What was the main thing you were doing before you were a personal trainer?
Security. I used to work at events and at nightclubs, protecting people and looking after property. So very different, still physical at times, but in different ways. And
so you were a door girl, weren't you?
I was a door girl.
You can't. Some of those clubs, it's probably better to be standing outside than it was to actually be inside them, wasn't it? Did you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, I had a mixture of the two. Sometimes it was searching, sometimes it was ejecting. It came with many different things that I had to do. And as you say, it was very different. Good to meet people. But it wasn't exactly my passion. I'm much more passionate about fitness.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. So I think we're all agreed on this. And Kevin's here. Kevin, it's great to see you, my friend. We haven't seen you for a while. Kevin says having a meaningful reason to get up in the morning is the key to good living. That could well be a mantra, couldn't it, for a long and happy life? Leaping out of bed in the morning. The sort of archetypal retired person is moaning and groaning every day, thinking, what am I going to do now, Let me just reshare this screen because there's something else I want to show you. So I then asked ChatGPT, having it's already designed a business model for postponing old age, what cutting-edge research could we highlight to explain how human aging could soon be a thing of the past? Also, can you name a few experts in futurism? These are my words, by the way, longevity and anti-aging. So if you are thinking of using ChatGPT, by the way, for any kind of writing, it will work really well if you ask it the right questions. If your questions are very generic and you brief it in a very broad and generic way, then it will give you broad and generic answers. So just, implant that in your mind. If you're thinking about using ChatGPT, I think you should give it a try, to be fair. But if you think about using it to write sales letters, to write emails or something, ask it very good questions and it will come up with very good answers. So it said to me there are several areas of cutting edge research that could be highlighted to explain how human aging could soon be a thing of the past. These include, Emma, have you done any research into this? Are you aware of what telomeres are? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Telomeres?
No, that isn't something I've read into recently.
No, it's part of the human genome, basically. And these are protective caps on the ends of chromosomes that shorten as we age. We look at them under a microscope, they're kind of long, wiggly things, a bit like spaghetti, and they get shorter.
Yeah.
And sometimes the caps degrade as well in the end. So that could potentially show in reverse, right? The ChatGPT then mentions senolytic drugs. Look at that. It's fascinating. A new class of drugs that target senescent cells, which are cells that have stopped dividing and can contribute to aging and age-related diseases. This is all foreign language to me, by the way. I have no idea about any of this. But isn't it fascinating that the font of all this knowledge is at our fingertips? So we can just type a few words into ChatGPT and it'll come up with all this crazy next level stuff. And we've got a NAD plus molecule. CRISPR, like the idea of that. Like the idea of being crisper. Don't know what it means. Ain't got a clue. And then this is really key for me, because do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach out to these people. They're experts in futurism, longevity, anti-aging. Dr. DeGray, Dr. David Sinclair, Elizabeth Blackburn, Peter Attia, Michael Rose. Give us some yays. Oh, telomeres, says Kevin. Telomeres, that's how you pronounce it. Telomeres, thank you. Give us a yay if you think this is absolutely fantastic, this tool that you're looking at on the screen now. Give us a yay if you're as amazed by it as I am. You could also contact the organisers that support research on ageing, such as Sense, Book Research, Gerontological. I'm going to have to learn to pronounce all these new words, aren't I? It is amazing, isn't it, Anne? It is absolutely incredible. Give us some yays in support for this incredible platform that we're just looking at on the screen here. I found it absolutely mind-blowing. Now, I then told ChatGPT that I've identified 5 pillars. And in fact, we're going to come back to this because Emma and I are going to talk through some ideas for you guys around these 5 things. Yes, Roy, it is amazing how much knowledge it can access, indeed. So I asked ChatGPT, would these 5 pillars make sense? And it said, yeah, they make sense. They play an important part. But ChatGPT suggests some other pillars, such as, guys, look at this, stress management. Hands up, give us a yay if you give us a yay if you help your clients with stress management. Just put yes in the comments now. Do you help your clients with stress management? If you do, if you help your clients with stress management, give us a yay. If you do, this is a virtuous circle, isn't it? Because by working on your own stress management, you are going to be much more equipped, aren't you, to help other people with their stress management. And yeah, we've got a nice group of you here who've all owned up to that. Yeah, for sure. And you help in different ways. It doesn't have to be NLP or hypnotherapy, does it? There's loads and loads of ways to do it, but Kevin does for sure. Karen does, we know that. So isn't it interesting how a dispassionate, detached chatbot, a robot, knows that stress management, chronic stress can have a negative impact on health and accelerate the aging process. Hormone optimization, testosterone, estrogen. Emma, can you get hold of any testosterone for me? Get me some injections. Human growth hormones. That's what we need.
There's always opportunities to get that where necessary.
Yeah, I'm scared of that, actually. I really am. I'm not so sure I want to do that. But I know some people who do. I know some really big guys.
I was going to say, to be honest, it's not something for everyone. I've, of course, never done anything like that myself, but having met people that have, it impacts everybody differently, doesn't it? In terms of how to keep their body going, and very much so related to age as well, in terms of slowing that down.
No, I know that. That could be something to consider, I suppose. Now, I'm really big on this. I'll just tell you a quick little anecdote. There are 2 ways to get to my son's school. My son Oscar is 7 years old. I walk him to school in the mornings. And there are 2 ways. One of them goes through town, through the pedestrian precinct. The other one walks along the busy road. The pedestrian precinct route is about 2 minutes longer. We've timed it. But I always go that way because pollution, UV radiation, exposure to toxins, accelerated aging process. Not only that, it's dreadful if you're a child as well. If you're a child walking near a car exhausts your little head, and your mouth and nose is much nearer the exhaust pipe than an adult. So, this is so important, isn't it? The environment that we're in, air and water filters, sunscreen, skincare products. I love how, intelligent this robot is in some ways. And then personalized medicine. I wouldn't say we should all have our own personal physician, but maybe something to think about, isn't it? Personalized medicine, including genetic testing and interpretation. That's going to cost money, isn't it? I guess that's going to cost money. And then I asked it for the marketing plan, to attract the first 1,000 members. So that's no longer of interest to this community, I would think, seeing as you're not going to be doing that. But I would just like to say this, that I am considering it. I'm considering launching this business called Postponing Old Age, along the lines that you just see on the screen right there. So, Emma, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today, these 5 things that we've identified as diet, sleep, fitness, mindset, and community. Obviously, I can chip in on a couple of them. What's your take on a healthy diet? I know there's no one size fits all, but are there any kind of general principles of what kind of food we should be avoiding and what kind of food we should be eating more of? Okay,
so in terms of a healthy diet, I always like to promote that balance. Balance is everything. If we did neglect and take away a lot of foods, that would be defeating the object of having the balance in our diet. So, I always aim for a high protein intake, depending on somebody's goals. I mean, generally speaking, you do want to be eating enough protein, of course, for multiple reasons, but to also make sure you're getting some healthy fats, fueling your body with the correct carbohydrates is just as important. I mean, processed food, of course, is fast, it's ideal, but that is the one thing that I would recommend to have less of, really, processed food, and do as much as you can fresh.
So somebody said to me a while back that they don't eat anything with more than 2 ingredients in it.
No way. Is that something that you've heard yourself?
Well, it probably speaks to the idea of heavily processed food contains lots of ingredients, doesn't it? All the colorants and preservatives and that kind of thing. By the way, if you have any questions for Emma or me while we're talking, just type in the chat. We will show them on the screen. We'll answer them. So yeah, you're thinking of a balance here. So the main food groups, of course, you're going to be talking proteins, carbohydrates, right?
Yeah, proteins, carbohydrates, and your fats. I mean, in terms of how you split this, again, it's something that some people take a lot more serious than others, depending on their fitness goals and their physique goals. I might be going into a little bit too much detail here, but generally speaking, as long as you feel as if you are covering all areas, that's going to be one of the best things to do for a healthy, balanced diet.
Yeah. What would be your recommendation for the type of diet if people don't want to add weight, or indeed want to lose weight? Because weight most often is more fat than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, so if somebody wants to lose weight, and when I say lose weight, most people generally would like to reduce their body fat rather than lose total weight, meaning that they're losing muscle as well. So to reduce body fat, they're going to want to eat less carbohydrates and less fats as well. So one of the the most important thing for weight loss is going to be to stay in a consistent calorie deficit. But the way that you split your macros over the deficit will play a big part in your results. So for reducing body fat, you do want to have your daily carbohydrate intake and daily fat intake lower than average to support your
So by
goals.
macros, this is the split of the various food groups, isn't it? Is that what you mean by that?
Yes, so your macros are your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. They're going to total up to 100% at the end of the day, but how you split that three-way split is going to play a massive part in your goals,
Yeah. It is just as it's possible to eat yourself sick, you can eat yourself well too, can't you? With the right diet.
Yes, as you say, there's so many things that are involved in, having a healthy, balanced diet and then taking it too far. Yes, as you say, that missing link for a lot of us, it might just be something as simple as, I didn't have time to have lunch today, or I'm not sure if we've got enough in for dinner, so we'll pop by, McDonald's on the way home. But there's many, many healthier alternatives than taking these easy shortcuts in life.
No, I agree. Another another guide might be, if the food you eat has got a picture of itself on the box, it's probably not healthy. Right? Because raw food doesn't, does it? If you buy fruit and veg in bags, for example.
That's it.
Yeah, so single ingredients. Next thing is sleep. I don't know how much research you've done on sleep, Emma, but I know sometimes you've admitted to me that you didn't get much sleep and you felt shit, kind of thing. And that's most of us, isn't it? If we have a bad night's sleep, we generally have a bad day's work following that. And this does compound. I've tested this in my own life. I've had periods, I guess, like many of us, where I haven't been coping with stress very well, and therefore I haven't been sleeping very well, and it becomes, a downward spiral, doesn't it? All I can say is, in recent years, since I've kind of found my feet with the GHM community, and I'm really happy with the business, I'm really fulfilled and excited pretty much every day I come to work, I've been sleeping well. I've been sleeping 8 hours a night, and that is a virtuous circle. You tend to rise rather than fall from that concept. So all I can say is, if you can find a way to have 8 hours of good sleep a night, my goodness, what a difference it makes. Where would you say you are with your sleep at the minute? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I'd try and aim for between 7 and 9 hours. I think that's the perfect amount for everyone, really.
Yeah,
However, as you say, with busy days, early mornings are the one thing that's challenging for me, as my first PT session in the morning is usually 6 a.m. So to be up and kind of in for that, it does mean settling earlier on. But anything above 6 hours, that's it. Anything above 6 hours is doable for me, really.
Yeah. Helen seems to need a good 10 hours in winter.
Oh, wow.
What are you, a hedgehog? Hibernating in the winter. Whatever makes sense to you. They do say 7 to 8 is optimal. I don't know what the disadvantages of sleeping longer, I must say. So we mentioned these sort of 5 pillars: diet, sleep, fitness, mindset, and community. Let's talk about fitness. That's number 3, and that's right in your wheelhouse, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
If somebody came to you, let's say in middle age, let's say they were in their mid 40s to mid 50s, they hadn't been working out typically. Well, first of all, let's just see if that resonates with the group here. Who would say, who would own up, give us a yay if this is you? You're in the demographic from age 45 onwards, and you don't have a fitness regime at the moment. Who can say yes to that? You don't have a regular fitness habit. Let's say that means some type of fitness and exercise 3 times a week. Anybody on this call who's in that age demographic, 45 plus, and they don't have a regular fitness habit? Anybody doing that? If not, talk about what your fitness habit is. So Anne's on up to that. Well done. Too scared with rheumatoid arthritis. Wow. Okay. Well, let's just 42 and super unfit. Aoife, what you like? My darling Aoife. So Emma, quick question for you. So let's assume that there are quite a few people in our community who would be prepared. There you go, Coralie. Coralie is right up there because Coralie's 79. She's doing that. Dig my lot on most days. Yeah, good stuff. So there's a mixed bag here, isn't there? But look, let's assume that someone's coming to us with either a pre-existing health condition like Anne, or just ain't bothering like Aoife. How would you get them started, Emma? What would be the first step to actually getting them on the wagon? You do to the point where I'm and beyond, I guess. What would you be doing?
For a brand new client, or person in general that wants to start introducing fitness into their daily routine, I think it's always better to start with smaller steps than massive leaps. Simple reason being it's more realistic and sustainable, but giving yourself 2 or even 3 days a week where you are telling yourself, you're going to go on that outdoor walk, or you will attend that PT session. It's really getting on the correct program that's going to work best for you. And it doesn't always, again, have to be something that's on the same day every week or with the same person. It can be done completely on your own. But 3 sessions a week is going to be a good start. And those 3 sessions, I'd suggest to be a mixture of strength, not only strength, but condition as well. So you're ticking off all areas in terms of improving your cardiovascular, and also, really focusing on not only increasing mobility, but ensuring that you do still have a good amount of mobility.
Yes. And something you enjoy, as Helen says.
Exactly, yeah.
Long QT. I'm not sure what long QT is. Long QT. You have to tell us what long QT is. You and your jargon, Aoife. I don't know what. Kevin's got an interesting point here, I think. Just doing cardio, in other words, just walking and running, is absolutely brilliant, isn't it, for your general metabolism and your heart and all the rest of it. But there's sometimes a misunderstanding, Emma, isn't there, that if people do weights, they're going to get all Iron Man kind of thing, and they don't want bulging biceps and all that sort of thing. Yeah. I don't think it's about that, is it? Because have you read this research that says every decade after 30, you lose 10% of your muscle mass through aging.
Yeah, exactly. So in general, to have weightlifting in your weekly routine is something that I believe everybody should do. The enjoyment factor is important, as mentioned earlier on today. But as you say, we want to kind of retain as much muscle as we can as we age, and the importance of bone health, and avoiding or decreasing the risk, of different health conditions. I don't see why people wouldn't take the opportunity to focus on weightlifting with their cardio of their choice.
Yeah, exactly. Right next to the point, it's harder to gain muscle as you get older. My personal trainer taught me how important core strength was. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I read as a simple test as well, apart from lifting groceries? If you can get up off the floor without using your hands, that's a really good indicator that your legs and core are sufficient. Because don't forget, if your legs give up, you can't get about, can you? You can't walk anymore. That's one of the key markers of old age, isn't it? Being confined to a seat with wheels on it. So yeah, we did a leg day today, didn't we? I probably won't be able to get up off the floor tomorrow without using my hands, but
We
it's
have to let
all,
me know how your recovery is over the weekend, actually, Jonny.
yeah, no pain, no gain. Have you noticed this with different ages of clients, that it's harder to gain muscle as they get older?
Yeah, I mean, it is a known fact that it is more difficult to gain muscle after, I wouldn't say a certain age in particular, but in general, as we get older, it does become more difficult.
Yeah.
Something that will play a big part in helping that would be, again, following and maintaining a good diet with consistency and making sure, for one, number one here really is ensuring that you are in a calorie surplus, because to gain weight and to gain muscle, the factor that's often missed is that you need to be eating actually more calories than what your body needs to, of course,
Ah, right.
use to
Okay.
utilize to gain the weight. Yeah.
Now, of course, some people would perceive that that's what adds fat, but calories are
Yeah.
not just from fat, are they? You can get calories from good carbs as well, can't you?
Yeah, of course. So to eat more than what you are recommended to maintain weight would not mean that you get fat if the choices of calories and food sources are appropriate to your goals, which would be
Yeah, I love that.
healthy carbohydrates, good sources of proteins.
Yeah,
And of course,
yeah,
recovery as well. Recovery is a massive thing here. So, jumping into the gym after having, say, 20 years off, or jumping into a gym after have not been in a gym before, the last
yeah.
thing you want to do is set yourself up for too much with not enough rest and recovery, because that's going to
Yes.
be especially important.
Yeah, well, of course, doing some of these unnatural exercises can cause injuries too, can't they? You got to be careful with that.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
like Pilates too. I've seen a lot of people with really good results from Pilates. Why is core strength so important, Emma? I believe it is. I'm totally committed to my core. Why is it so important? Good core.
As you mentioned earlier about your feet and not being able to kind of stand up, if your legs aren't like working, similar situation to core strength here is I kind of see my core as my base. My core is obviously supporting my legs, same as it's supporting my torso and shoulders. So without that
Yes.
strong core, it's going to be really difficult to actually brace yourself and create full body tension when
Yes.
lifting, as you say, from earlier, shopping bags. Even thinking
Yeah.
about picking like grandchildren up, or going on a trip to buy some shopping, you're going to need core strength to get through these daily activities.
Yeah. Of course you are. And I'm sure that one of the most common aches and pains is lower back. It's only because we're evolved quadrupeds, really. Our
And
ancestors walked around on 4 legs instead of 2. So standing up is something that the human body isn't perfectly evolved for just yet. So pretty much everybody has back pain at some point, and working around that, strengthening your back as well as your core at the front is, it's going to help that, isn't it? We don't want to do anything when our
of
back
course,
hurts.
definitely. As you
Mm,
say, one of the most common injuries, really, I think, in or outside of the gym, is that people, end up pulling their back or their back's gone. And
yeah.
as you rightly said, strengthening the core will reduce the chances of that happening.
Yeah, of course it will. Well, if you think of the archetypal old person, hunched over, what's happened is that they've got no core strength left. They've got a soft belly and soft back. And a lot of people get smaller as they get older, don't they? Actually
Yeah.
shrink in height with the degradation of the core kind of thing, Yeah, Coralie discovered she had upper arm and shoulder muscles. Yay! They're there. They're there all the time. That's what everybody thinks of as the muscle. My little lad Oscar says, "Dad, look at my muscle." And he does this with his arm. That's the muscle. That's the main
Right.
muscle. I know. Let's do the final 2 in one. Of these 5 pillars, I said the last 2 are mindset and community. They're both linked. I'll explain what I mean. As you age, one thing that's happened that happens as I've observed is that you might live longer than some of your friends, some of the people in your circles, and it's easy to become isolated thereby. My dad's a prime example of this. Bless him. He died in 2016, aged 95. And he literally knew nobody for the last 10 years of his life because they'd all died. All his mates were dying, all his relatives were dying. He outlived everybody that he ever knew in his life, right? Apart from, me and my brother kind of thing, including his wife, sadly, my mum. But it doesn't have to be that way, does it? If you have a different mindset and you're prepared to make new friends, make new collaborations, meet people all the time, then that's not going to happen, is it? You're always going to have people around you. And we've got a perfect opportunity to do that, haven't we, in our kind of business, because we're always gelling with new clients, we're always having new conversations with new interesting people, some of them younger than us, potentially. Like Emma. Emma's younger than me. Lots. And this means, that whatever point we get to in life, we're always going to have people around us. And I think this speaks to where we started, the longevity obligation about, working with people that we can help until we just run out of everything, until we run out of life, basically. That's also going to mean, isn't it, that you're always part of a community. There's always somebody around you that you can talk to, somebody you can reach out to, somebody you can meet. Let's just have a look what Coralie's added to it. Oh yeah. So the other thing about community, of course, is collaboration. And just going back to marketing for a minute, I'm very, very, very keen that this year, 2023, is going to be a year of collaborations for me in the JHM business, but also we're going to be sharing our thoughts on that, sharing our strategy and tactics for you guys to have more collaborations. Because in pure marketing terms, the easiest way to access an audience of your ideal clients is not to build your own, but to access somebody else's audience who's already got your ideal clients. So collaboration. We're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks a Thank Flip It's Friday session purely on collaborations, how to find the right people to collaborate with and get stuck into their networks as well as yours. And, you'll see as well that we'll be doing quite a bit of this in JHM this year. But that's a really, really important part of the topic that we're considering today, because postponing old age means hanging out with other people. Some of them are going to be younger than you, so they're going to inspire you with their current lifestyle. I do that all the time. In fact, one of my main hobbies, which is driving racing cars, I'm nearly always the oldest person in the event at the racetrack or whatever. So it's quite inspiring to surround yourself with people younger than you that you can learn from and get some really, really cool stuff from. Coralie, my message is not to worry about aging and brag about being 80, because I always get responses, I don't look 79. Yeah, you don't. You don't even look 69, Coralie. If I wasn't married now and you weren't married, I'd probably be dating you. I doubt it. We're too far away, aren't we? We're too far away. So look, just to wrap up, I really wanted this to be a kind of, a trial session for how you guys feel about this concept. I'm quite motivated to actually launch a business around the concept of postponing old age. At the very least, a community, if not a business to start with. So let me ask you this question. Anytime soon, if I launched a community called Postponing Old Age, and we got experts in to talk about how to do this, with me sort of, guiding the ethos, is that something you'd be interested in joining? Would you get involved with it? Give us a yay if you'd get involved. There's 17 of you watching live. If I get 17 yays, I'm going to be very, very motivated to do this. So anytime soon this year, if I launched a community called Postponing Old Age, and we just threw everything at it, all the angles of diet, sleep, fitness, mindset, keeping in with the community, the other things that chatbot has recommended, like stress management, hormones, environment, personalized medicine. If I did that, would you be interested in being part of it? There's 20 of you watching now, so the question is, would you be interested in being part of a community? Put money aside for that. We're not even talking about money. That gave you ideas and inspiration for postponing old age, so you don't get old anytime soon. Would you be interested in that? Give us some yays in the comments. We're getting loads and loads of yays. I'm an elder in most things. Yeah, absolutely. Annabella, you're bloody right, you can. What we're going to do with this, it's going to be a very collaborative venture, right? Because I don't necessarily want to be seen as the leading light here. I just want everybody to get old in perfect health. I've shared with Emma my life goal. Can you remember, Emma? You might not have, because I don't go on about it all the time. Do you remember what my life goal is? Is Emma still there? Is Emma frozen? I think Emma's internet might have packed in. Well, my life goal is this: to get to 105 in perfect health. Emma, sorry, we lost you there.
I wasn't far off.
Your internet just crashed.
I know. I was saying, actually, your life goal is to get to 100 in perfect health. But as I said that, the signal come back and you said 105, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, what's 5 years to, friends? I reckon if you can get to 100 in perfect health, you're in the pound seats, aren't you? You're going to get to 105, aren't you?
I think so.
Fantastic. Yes, so Annabelle's in. Coralie wants to collaborate. I want you leading this without a doubt. Yeah. Kevin's of interest too. Listen, I think it goes without saying, it was almost a rhetorical question. Would you be interested? Because why wouldn't you be? Let me work on this in the back room. I'll beaver away for a bit, and I'll do some teaser posts in JHM about how you can get involved and how we can make all this work. And Emma, you've got a little bit of an announcement, haven't you? Because you've got something in the cooking pot for these lovely people too. Do you remember what we talked about this morning?
I have. So there is something that I'm looking to introduce. It's basically going to be a quiz that's going to be quite generic for everybody and anybody to take if you wish to. This quiz that you will be going through is going to have a series of questions really about general health and fitness and how we can reinforce longevity by including some of these things in our life, such as what we mentioned earlier with mindset, community, diet, sleep and fitness. So when this quiz does come about, if any of you would like to fill it out, it can then lead on to programming, and the programming would be of your choice, whether you'd like to focus on strength, all-round fitness, mobility, being brand new into the gym. There's a few different service routes we can go down.
Yeah, I love that, and the key is customization to your own goals and to where you are at the moment. Everyone's going to be starting from a different point, and you're going to want to get to a different point as well, aren't you? Well, look, I think we've had a lively session. Can I just say as well, 4 years all go, give Emma some kudos, because this is your first time, isn't it, on a live stream?
It is, yeah.
Ever. So
it is ever.
Have we got some great stuff from Emma today? I think we have. Give Emma some thumbs and some love and all that sort of thing in the comments. I think it was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, I see you regularly, but it's been great having you here. It really, really has.
It's been great to be here, Jonny.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We are going to wrap up because it is Friday, and Annabelle's going to watch it back. Well done, Emma, says Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
They are all lovely people, aren't they? They are lovely people. So we're going to leave it literally right at that. Next week, back on the marketing horse. I'm going to dive straight into some collaboration stuff next week. So we're going to learn about how to find the ideal collaboration partners, because you can waste a lot of time with the wrong people. So we'll try and nail that next week. In Thank Flip, it's Friday. Other than that, have a beautiful weekend. Hope you do everything that you want to do, and you are really, 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 really happy. Anne says, well done, Emma.
Thank
Love
you,
you
Anne.
lots, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good one.
See you later.
Bye.